How's it going today? Today we're going to talk about why I don't buy Chinese stocks and why you shouldn't either. I think it's one of these things where the number one reason I don't buy them is because I have no idea really anything about them, and that's why a lot of people they've been asking and they recommend these Chinese stocks, and I think it's just kind of a trend or whatever. Maybe they're thinking that it gets some more views and I mean like a um or whatever, and it's kind of like this trend. Now everybody's talking about these marijuana stocks and all of this, and it's always seemed the internet always has like these trends that people talk about, you know what I mean? And China is one of these things, and I never really recommend any of the stocks, and this is basically why, because I believe the best thing that an investor has, in my opinion, is their ability to actually react, to actually use some of these companies and actually think about it. So let's say you think Alibaba. I've never used Alibaba at all. So essentially, why would I ever, how would I know? And let's say like the Google, I don't know anything about China. I don't know their culture and stuff. I don't have the basically the feel for their culture. I don't even know what they like. You know what I mean? So it's just one of these things. Um Maybe the business will do well. I'm not saying all these are junk. I'm not saying Chinese stocks are bad. It's just I don't know why people, their first investments or their first stocks they pick is some Chinese company. They have no idea what it does. Or they go say, oh, they compare it to the companies they might know, but that's not knowing a company. I mean, well, it's kind of like Amazon. Well, is it? Does it have cloud service? Does it have Prime and all this? And is it the exact same? Do Chinese people like it the exact same? It's one of these things where, um, and that's why a lot of these companies, they have a lot different kind of ways to look at it. So essentially, and it's just the way they do things, and you really can't really ask them. I mean, unless you fly to China and actually know what's going on. I believe it's very foolish, because how do you know? It's just like you can easily go to any McDonald's or any place and ask your friends, your family members, do you like Amazon? You know what I mean? There's kind of your best way to do research. If you just kind of look around and see things on Facebook and stuff like that, because you're in it every day. You know what people like. Just like the Avenger movies were last night. If you're in America, you know that's big. And then as an investor, you can look. Okay, who makes that? Okay, Disney. Well, Disney makes that. Everybody likes Star Wars. So essentially, obviously, and Disney makes both of them, so you can, as an investor, be like, wow, they got that and that. Wow, that's some of the biggest franchises. So essentially, you might buy Disney, or that you do that's kind of your, what I like to call, boots on the ground research. You know what I mean? Because really, that's what you're doing, and that's why I just don't really like recommending Chinese stock, because I have no idea. I don't even know what's the top movie over there now. What is the top restaurant? What do they do? I don't know what some Chinese person does in Hong Kong. I don't know what kind of videos they watch, their culture. I mean, it's completely different. But I know America because I live there. I mean, it's just kind of things you just kind of got to look at, before you jumping overseas. What I mean? If you and there's not, and it's kind of dumb, like you're jumping over there because you read about, because honestly you're just taking somebody else's word. You're just taking some newspaper article that someone says, oh, Chinese stocks are going to fly, or this or that. You're just taking someone's or advice. You know what I mean? And with American stocks, you're kind of doing it, but you're actually a consumer of their products. If someone says that, oh, this new whatever, this new restaurant is going to blow away McDonald's, and then you can physically go there and go there, and let's say you eat the meal and you go, man, this is disgusting, and they're charging, let's say, $100 for a hamburger that's disgusting. You can go, well, I don't know where he's getting at. You know what I mean? If they told me that, some mom and pop restaurant is going to beat McDonald's and be bigger than the next McDonald's, I would like to go there. You know what I mean? And do my boots on the ground type research, and actually go there and go just like Chipotle. While people buy, I think Chipotle, the stock is done well and everything, but if you go there and ask, and you can just talk to your friends, you know what I mean? Or just sit around and see what people buy. You can't really do that with Chinese stocks. It's not like unless you go to China and sit around and go, you know what, I can see that people like this. You know what I mean? It's just, and it's one of these things you may not like it, but you see people always going out, and it's one of these things like, and that's the number one thing that you can, a lot of the companies that I recommend that I like, I also use the products. I know that they're good companies. You know, like Google. I recommend Google, and I use Google every day of my life almost. I mean, I don't think there's not one day when I don't go to Google or YouTube, anything like that, or Facebook. I play, and it's one of these things. And I go on Facebook. Activision is one of these things. EA, I play video games, so I kind of know the market. I know what people like, in video games, more than someone that doesn't. And I think it's very foolish because you're basically just taking someone else's advice, and I don't agree, because you're taking your biggest advantage that you have as an investor. Really, I think your best advantage is just kind of sitting back and looking at the companies and seeing what they do. So essentially, I mean, you like if you use PayPal, I don't even know what does China use, I mean, I don't really know, so essentially that's why I don't recommend it. I'm not saying it's bad or whatever. I just can't really tell. I mean, when I talk to my friends, they, when we're talking about Netflix, what you like, Prime or Netflix? A lot of people say I like Netflix still. I keep Netflix. I like Netflix. I think Netflix is the best, but can I go over to China and go, hey, what do you, I came in, you know what I mean? I'll go over there. You would have to go over there. What are you going to do on the internet and Google and pray to God that the first couple pages or whatever, the first page that you do your research on, some guy's not biased, and, so you can't use your own people to do your research, so you can't actually go to the restaurant. So the Chinese stock, the Chinese McDonald's, or Chinese Starbucks, you can't really go there. You can't really see people buying it. Maybe even China, they don't drink coffee as much, so you can't really kind of compare it. You know what I mean? It's just one of these things. I don't even know what China people, they eat their daily things, because I've never been to China. So why would I? But I know what America likes. I know, when you're driving down the road, just like car companies. I don't know what Chinese people drive. I've never been, but I know what Americans drive. You can just drive down. You could just open your eyes and think. Drive down the road and see Ford and GM and Chevy, and then you see, slowly now you've seen maybe a little more Teslas and stuff like that. But that's what you see. So you can see that, oh, well, them companies are probably pretty big. You know what I mean? If you see them, if you just go any trip up to a city or wherever, and you just kind of go to a mall and see where people are buying, and see where people like to go, you can go, well, I guarantee that company's doing well. Then you hear about people, man, I love Amazon. I go to Amazon, buy everything. I mean, you ever been to hanging out with friends or whatever, and you hear someone, or at work, you go like, wow, I just bought this new iPhone and I absolutely love it. You know what I mean? That's something you have to you have to take notice. You know what I mean? Or if you look at a grocery store, they're buying these products and not these products, and it does reflect, because it's just the way our culture is. It's just, you can drive past McDonald's every day and see the line is 100 miles long and go, wow, I guarantee McDonald's has done well. And if you look at the stock price, it reflects that. And it's that simple. The stock price has kept going up over the last 5 years, and McDonald's is still busy and doing well. So, but you can't really do that on Chinese stocks. So essentially, that's why I don't recommend any of them, because I just personally don't know them. I can't go down to a major. I'm not going to go to Hong Kong and walk around and see what Chinese people are doing. It's just, I think it's very foolish because it's always secondhand information that you're getting. But anyway, that's my opinion on Chinese stocks. That's why I don't think you should really own them. I mean, because you really don't know. Unless you do know, unless you went to China and talked to someone that went to China, but then you still get one opinion. And it might be biased or whatever, and you're really not getting a group of information, you know what I mean? So essentially that's why I stay away from China, and everything. So, I'm not saying it could crash. I'm not saying it, but how can I pick the best ones? You know what I mean? I know China probably could keep growing, but how can I pick the best ones? You know what I mean? America's grown, but some of the companies have not done well. So essentially that's how I look at it. So hope this video helps out maybe on your decision to buy that Chinese stock. Maybe sit back and kind of think about it. So that's all today. Thank you, and have a good day.